I am Andrew Boyd, the TLCC President. On my right is our Club Treasurer, Mark Willock. On my far left is our Vice President, Greg Norris. And on my left is our Club Secretary, Colin Morby. I just ask if you would like to say anything in the meeting, to grab a microphone, whether that's from one of the ones on the front desk here or for one of the roving ones. It is best to grab a mic before you start speaking because it helps both Richard and Recce with the live streaming of tonight's meeting. Firstly, I want to ask if there's any new members present tonight or any that have recently joined the club. No? Okay. Welcome to the club. We are pleased that you choose to join and trust you will enjoy a long and happy association with the club. If there's anything we can help you with, please let us know. Present is as per the attendance book. I have a number of apologies so far is Christine Ross and Sue and Ken Duffy. Are there any other apologies for tonight's meeting? Chris Taylor. Any other apologies? No. The minutes from the previous meeting have been posted at the back of the hall. Are there any issues, points need raising regarding those minutes? If not, can I have a mover and a seconder to those minutes? Tony Scott and Anthony Ross. Announcements from the President. I wish to thank the outgoing committee for their contribution. A lot of work goes on behind the scenes to keep the running of the club, and our committee members have selflessly invested their time and energy in fulfilling their roles. I particularly want to acknowledge Bod Fyfe's role as President for the past 5 years. In my email to the membership, I stated first 4 years. I personally apologise for that error. He has been a steadying force for the club during difficult years, including COVID. David Rowley, who is stepping down after a long period of serving on the committee in various positions, and Ian and Robin Moggs, who have diligently managed forward drive activities and membership. I'm stepping into the role in anticipation of what we can achieve together. Importantly, I'm keen to hear what you as members expect from myself and the committee. I want to focus on increasing the engagement of our membership base, creating a cycle of learning and training others, getting more trips organised and sharing trip adventures near and far, getting involved in our communities, cementing established relationships with vehicle manufacturers and forward drive accessory companies, and building our club's reputation as friendly, family orientated, knowledgeable and safe adventurers. Myself and the committee welcome your ideas. I'll encourage you to have your say and complete the survey which you all have now received, or chat to any of us at a meeting or a club social. Club's 55th anniversary, a date to diarise. The club's 55th anniversary celebration will be held at Willow Glen on Saturday, the 2nd of November 2024, proposing a catered dinner in and around the shed in late afternoon. As a club lucky enough to have 2 properties to our name, we thought it fitting to celebrate at one of them. Stand by for more information as the plans come together. Myself and John Fermano, I guess, are 2 of the keen organisers, and we're looking to have a few more who'd like to join us as part of the organising committee. If you'd like to be part of that, drop me an email, come and see me tonight. We're looking for a couple of people who would help us support, run the event. We'd like to do probably maybe a mini Funkana or something prior to it, but more plans will unravel as the year goes on. I'll now pass over to our Vice President's report, and that will be from Greg.
Thanks, Andrew. A couple of things to talk about tonight. Following on from the promise that we made at the last general meeting, I sent out last weekend the first of our club engagement surveys. For those people who responded, thank you so much. It was so good to see such a great response from the club. And I say great response because typically when you send a survey out, if you get like 3 to 5%, that's the most you can hope for. If you're really optimistic, you can get 20% and over. And we got 35% of the members responded before today, which I think deserves a big applause for the people here and the people who are watching on YouTube. I need to give Anthony and Nicole Morpher a special thank you. They were the first ones to fill the survey in. I think once it got sent out, it binged about a couple of minutes later to say, yeah, I've done your survey. And so they got the number one Guernsey. More importantly, we've got the prizes that I said we would draw tonight for that. Will we draw those prizes now or later? Now? Okay. Now, I've done this because I don't want to interfere with what our Sergeant at Arms has got. I have the Greg Norris version of it. So we've got 188 responses. Well, we had 285 complete out of 816. But only 188 of them actually wanted to go in the draw, which is a bit of a puzzle for me. But be that as it may, it's a two-step process. The first step will be to get Reinhardt, who's one of our guest speakers tonight, to pick one of the squares of paper out of this fancy raffle container. And he's got a 3-digit number on that piece of paper. And now I will go and tell you who owns that 3-digit number. Only because I didn't want to have to cut up all your names and put them in the raffle container. So Colin is my scrutineer. He's telling me what that number is. And the number is, Colin? 180, which is Christopher Hayes. Is Christopher Hayes here tonight? We'll give him a clap anyway. Now, we've got to draw a second one. Andrew, do you want to draw a second one? Wow, 169 is Zuzana and Peter Vinarova. Are they here? No? Okay, well, then I'm going to send the two prizes, which were a Bunnings voucher for $50 and a fancy voucher for the clothing shop. I've just got the manual, handcrafted, tailored Greg Norris version because the other one's got caught in the post. And as I may have mentioned, we've got the guys from Berrima Diesel who are going to be the guest speakers tonight, and we've got also next meeting in May, Peter Fenwick from Camperac. So we've got quite a good lineup of guest speakers for the next couple of months at least. And that's it from me, Andrew. Oh, of course. So now that we've got all the responses from the survey, I will be analysing those, and I think that I may even be able to make them available electronically, so I'll be able to send those results to the people who completed the survey. And needless to say, I'll present the results of the survey, which were interesting, at our next meeting. So, you know, if you want to ask questions about the data, obviously you'll need to be here to ask those questions, otherwise you'll just be able to absorb the information.
Thanks, Greg. And the committee is committed to basically action. I guess probably we won't be able to action all of those points, but we're happy to work through the key points which are going to take the club in the direction that it needs to go. So, which will be great. So yeah, thanks, Greg, for taking that initiative on. Treasury report, Mark.
Thank you, Andrew. Treasury reports are never as interesting because we don't give prizes. And it always seems a bit dry when you're following Greg. Okay, so at the end of March, The club had receipts in March of $13,344. We have some membership fees and some new members joining for $7,400. And we also had Toyota. We had the Chief Engineers Day back in December, and that was supported by Toyota, who gave the club a donation for organising the event and paid for the catering. So that was $5,200 into the club's bank account. In the same month, we spent $16,700. That was publishing the magazine, which cost just on $10,000. We had some membership costs. We hired the hall. We did our digital presentations and bits and bobs. So as at the end of March, we have $389,607 in the bank. So that's where we're up to.
And could I have a mover and a seconder for the Treasurer's report? Tony Scott again, and Gary Cooper. And now go across to education. Gary.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you. Good evening to everyone. Start off the education report with the March driver training. Module 1 obviously is held here on the Tuesday the 12th of March, and modules 2 and 3 down at Willaglen on the 16th and 17th of March. We had, after the training, we had 19 new certificates issued for the new members. There was evidently a good verbal feedback from the members, which is always good when you get a social group as well as they're enjoying their driving. Shortly there'll be another article in the club magazine about that weekend. And evidently, over that weekend, it was quite cool down there. They ended up with a fire on Friday night and Saturday night, and light rainfall most of Sunday. So that's March basic driver training. Now, the advanced driver training, that'll be held on the 20th and 21st of April. Now, owing to the complexity of the training delivered, the number of course participants is capped at 6. When the bookings opened, this number of registrations filled in 2 minutes, and then a further 7 people trying to book on. That happened in another 2 minutes. So in 4 minutes, the course was full with a wait list. Now, this is limited by the number of trainers, the number of people we run on the course. I really think I want to look into this and see if we can actually have more trainers trained at the advanced level and try to run more advanced courses with more people on it. It's a real restrictive part of this course, and it's something I want to really look into. Moving on to navigation courses, Alan Kidd's our navigator trainer or teacher. So he's got his HEMA 4x4 Explorer course. That'll be held at Willaglen on the 11th of May. And then on the Sunday, he's got his Aussie Explorer for Android on the 12th of May. The bookings are still open. They're coming in steadily. There are still a few spaces left. They're excellent courses. Get out in the bush and you can find your way back again. And Alan's an excellent teacher. The next basic driver training will be in May. Module 1 here on the 14th of May, modules 2 and 3 down at Willaglen on the 18th and 19th of May, and I believe that is already full. Chainsaw course. We've had to move the chainsaw course. Initially I had it on the weekend that has now been assigned for the 55th anniversary. So Dave Lamb and Wayne Back, our trainers, have agreed to move it to the 21st and 22nd of September. So that's always a good course too. And Trip Leaders course. We ran a Trip Leaders course earlier this year by Gareth Davies, and it was so popular and he got such positive feedback that he said, well, I'll run another one. So we fitted him in, we've given him a date, so that'll be on the 28th and 29th of September. Bookings open on the 17th of August, and we wish Gareth well for that one as well, because the interesting thing about Gareth is when you join his course, he asks you to run a trip. So we've already had a number of trips from the first course that he ran put onto the website. So that's great. There doesn't have to be any long trips, just a couple of day trip or a day trip, but we're getting trips that possibly are suitable for new members. And that's about it for me, except I'm always looking for new people to run courses. Anything you think that might be suitable for our members of interest, come and see me and we'll see if we can turn it into a course. And that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Right, so promotions. Bit of a learning curve. I'm going to start off with a little thank you to Andrew and his wife Lisa. They're going to be assisting me a fair bit with this. It's been quite a while since I've been involved in a committee, so first off, thank you Andrew and Lisa, and I'm looking forward to all the ongoing support you're going to give. Start off, we've got some outstanding advertising. We've had invoices posted or emailed out to all outstanding accounts on the 5th of the 4th. We'll update next meeting on the status of those, and hopefully we'll get some money back in from our current advertisers. We have a new club supporter on board, James Barood. He's got a range of products, mainly rooftop tents, which seem to be pretty popular these days. And we'll be providing some more details, hopefully next meeting, as to when we'll have them along to present and hopefully bring some of their products so we can have a little look, have a little touch and see what it's all about. Back at the hall, magazines, just behind where Richard is set up. Take them home if you like. Friends, family members who may have a four-wheel drive, may be interested in buying one, joining up, take them to your doctor's surgery. The more that's out there, the more interest we get. So I'd appreciate if you could help with that. Beyond that, ARB Thornley, November meeting. It's going to be on site there. There'll be members deals on the night. They'll be promoting all of their products, so we'd love to see you all there. And that's about it for me, so thank you.
Thanks, Jason, and hopefully if committee approves, we'll probably do a sausage sizzle or pizzas or something like that for those in attendance, but I haven't had that approved yet, but hopefully we'll get that across the line. And we thank Nick at ARB Thornley. We used to go there once a year before. I contacted Nick and he was more than happy for us to come back. And I've also spoken to Richard and Raki, and they will also be in attendance at that event. And they will also live stream from Nick's or ARB Thornley's workshop. Social Director's Report, Debbie.
Feel So, as you can see, we had loads of fun. There was much laughter and happy smiles. The sun was shining for us, the property looked spectacular, and it served us very well. We had a great number with 100 plus adults present and 60 plus kids present. Just a few thank yous. To everybody that came and contributed, your enthusiasm to be involved is what made this such a great event. To everyone that put their hand up to help with the implementation of the kids program, preparing our food, keeping the toilets in check, and helping with the cleanup. It couldn't have happened without you. Jason, aka EB, you were superb. Mark, my partner in crime, you were everywhere you needed to be, and then some. To our long-time club members who always turn up for no other reason than to make sure these events run smoothly and then just hang around to help with the post-event cleanup. Thank you to John and Jenny Twine, Gloria and Gordon White, Katie and Max, Rob and Carol Alexander, Chris and Marie Taylor. You are legends of our club. Andrew and Lisa, you saved the day offering to bring fresh bread in for the Sunday lunch. Peter, aka our resident photographer, thank you for always being so obliging and taking these fantastic photos for this video. Many will soon appear on our Facebook site as well as in the upcoming club magazine. Finally, I just want to say a special big thank you to our couple of young club members, Isla Drew and Luke Wagner, who offered to help out. Isla helped out with craft and during the movie night, and Luke was active helping with movie night, the games, and also serving lunch on Sunday. Thank you very much to both of them. So, after all that, let's get ready to book in for our fireworks spectacular, to be held on Saturday the 8th of June, which is the King's birthday long weekend, right at our Coolnadilly property. You will be served a delicious barbecue and then get to experience the most awesome professional fireworks display as the lights and sounds fill up the valley. It's a free event, but you must book in. Bookings will open on the 27th of April. Finally, I'm ecstatic that following the last AGM, we now have 11 members willing to join me on a social subcommittee. Yeah. The committee will be able to help me with the event planning, preparation and coordination of events. So I just wanted to introduce those 11 people. A few of them are here tonight. So I'll read out all the names, and then if you're one of these people, can I get you to stand up? Leslie Butler, Katie Regent, Max Turner, Jason Davis, Hamish Armitage, Alison Ritchie, Sarah Warren, Gordon White, Gloria White, Stuart Roach and Julia Moggs. So if you're here, can you stand up, please? So We give them all a clap. Thank you. Oh, and those guys, if we can just touch base after the meeting, please. So, that's me.
Thanks, Debbie. I think our biggest thanks needs to go to Debbie herself, because I was at Saturday's event, very impressively well run. Yeah, so to Debbie and all the volunteers, and obviously to the Easter Bunny, on behalf of the committee and the club, thank you very much. Land Manager Report, Brian.
Evening, everyone. I'll start with Willowglen at the moment. About 3 weeks ago now, we had a working bee down there. And I think, as most of you are aware, we had a large tree near the shed that was struck by lightning. Wayne Back came down with all his equipment, which he kindly donated, and his time to drop that tree, which was most interesting to watch an expert at work. And there'll be photos of all of that in the magazine in due course, and I think I did put a couple on Facebook. So thanks to Wayne Back for his time and equipment, which was mostly appreciated. We also mowed and tied up around the shed down there, cleaned out the gutters and the roof and the first flushes and other general maintenance around the place. While at Willowglen, I'm going to schedule an extra working bee down there. I'm going to schedule that for the 26th, 27th of October, which is the weekend before the 55th anniversary, so we can do any pimping of the place that needs to be done before the party event. So put that in your diaries, and any help that people can make at that time, I'll get down there, but I'll get that into all the usual places in due course so you can see it there. Coolandilee, last weekend's working bee didn't happen, so it's now this weekend, assuming the weather gods are kind to us and don't give us any more water, which will give us access to the property. Last month's working bee was mostly general maintenance, nothing very exciting. At the moment down there, from the photos I received from Jason, Horse Creek is a bit rough to cross at the moment. There's about a 1 metre step up to get up towards the shed, but when we get down there this weekend, we'll be able to sort that out pretty quickly with Gordon and his machine down there. The only other thing I have is general reference to the properties. It's been a few years since the bylaws were looked at, so the bylaws for use of the club properties have been revamped, in some places reworded to try and remove any confusion and make things a bit clearer for members. So that will end up in the next magazine, and I'm assuming, Andy, it'll get onto the website at some point. And so make sure you're familiar with those changes before you next go down. And I think that's about it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I'll now go to membership. Alan.
Too much. Too much sitting down. Since the last general meeting, we have 5 new memberships with 5 vehicles. We've also had a lapsed member who has rejoined the club with 1 vehicle, and we've had 20 membership renewals, which makes a total of 811 memberships, which include 23 life, and there are 246 email-only recipients for the magazine. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Forward Drive Activities Coordinator, Peter.
Hello everybody. It's been a long time since I've stood up here and addressed you. For anybody that doesn't know me, my name's Peter Williams and I'm doing the 4-wheel drive activities role now. My role is in the handbook that I was provided. It says the description is to handle chip registrations and promotions. I'd like to do a little bit more than that. I'd get more trips running, more people participating. As a coordinator, I want to get the resources of this club, with its 800 and whatever membership it was just talked about, and the 55 years of experience running trips and getting our four-wheel drives out of the garage. I want to make this happen. I got some ideas of how we can get some more participation in those trips. Everybody's been really brief. I'm going to go on a little bit, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. Some of the ideas that I've got, utilising things that are already in place, like our Facebook page. So if you're sitting around and you want to do something on the weekend and you only think of it maybe Thursday night, put it on Facebook page, say we're doing a run, meeting up at McDonald's at Lithgow or something and going out to the Lost City. There's no reason that we have to plan everything months in advance, because some trips take that, some little runs out to the power lines track or something like that. We don't have, even we're going down to Coolangatta for a swim for the day. Put it on Facebook. People will join in, they'll get involved. A little bit more spontaneity in that regard, I think, could be a beneficial thing to getting more participation. The other trips, the organised ones, the registered club trips, like the new members trips or trips to Hill End, Abercrombie, those things are a little bit more planned and we get things on. If anybody wants to do those trips, if you haven't done them before, again, we've got members with 55 years of experience, 800 and something of them. We should be able to get more and more trips on the book. I will coordinate, as the name on the badge says, or the title on the badge says, getting that information to people that hasn't run trips before and making sure that they're able to run them. Anybody that wants to do a recce with a trip, midweek I'm available to do that. I've got a couple of weekends this month. If people want to recce a trip and get it on the books, I'll come with them, I'll help them. The other thing I'd like to get implemented was that whenever anybody's doing a trip, if they can do a GPX file of the trip, and we'll start a GPX file library. So even if you haven't done it before, put it on the GPX file into your GPS, and we'll teach you how to do that on his course. And you've just got to follow the line, and you don't have to be, deciding is this left turn, right turn here. It'll make it a lot easier for people that haven't done that particular trip before, maybe cut down having to do so many recce's. And sorting the trips out that way. I'd like to get that up and going. I'd also like to list, if it's possible, on the website, annual trips. Like, this club should be running a Fraser Island trip every year, a high country trip every year. So we'll put it up, we'll get the names together, and then we'll decide who's going to actually get in there and run it. Somebody that wants to do it can get in there and lead it, or they can split it up between the group that I'll coordinate once we've got the applications for the trip. And we'll decide that somebody can run it or a number of people can run it and get it off the ground that way. So, we should be doing a Fraser Island, a Cape, a high country trip, almost as an annual event as part of the club. I'd like to get those off the ground, and again, using the club's resources and experience to help that happen. So we currently have 7 trips on the website. Many of them are full, and they go right through to August and September. And they've even had people inquiring about doing Canning Stock Route in 2025. If you want to do Canning Stock Route, it's going to take that long apparently to get it organised. But let's get some other trips up and running, get them on the website, send the applications to me, everybody that's willing to do them. let's get more new members trips going, and we'll try and coordinate those, the standard cave to cave type trip, although we can't get into the caves at the moment. Get them running and coordinate them with the working bees, and particularly if the driver trainers can push that along and get it known that they're going to happen in 2 weeks or so after driver training. We'll get those people on, get them in, get them involved early in the piece. As soon as they finish their driver training, get them on a trip and push that forward that way. And that's pretty much it from me. I hope everybody can back me. I'm so jealous of Deb with 11 people on the committee. If I can have 11 new trip leaders this year, that would be awesome. If I can get a couple of trips a month to start with, that'd be awesome. But we really need to get enough people doing the new members trips, the bigger trips, and spontaneous things. We could even do special interest trips. There's thousands of ideas. I need people to get on board with me. I'll help them every way they can, and I know this room and people aren't here that are willing to back the people and the trip leaders to make it all happen. Thanks.
Thanks, Peter. A lot of good ideas we need to get behind. I mean, the trips are the lifeblood of the club. We need to get behind this. So anyone who hasn't run a trip for a while, I'm sure that Peter will be more than happy to accept your application for a trip. I spoke to Peter at length today, and I promised him I would do one of my Abercrombie trips in the next month or two. The problem is you need a second trip leader because that many people go on that trip. But yeah, I'm sure Peter will get, yeah, I've got my second trip leader and he's waving his hand at the back, but yeah, so I'm sure we'll make it happen, Pete, so thanks. General business from the members. Elkie.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be short and sweet because I know these kind gentlemen from Berrima are keen to get up and tell us all about their wonderful service. Most of you know that the swap meet is on the 4th of May, and there will be some bargains to be had, I'm sure, from people outside the club and within the club. But what I want to let you know about tonight is there is some leftover clothing from the Willow Glen Challenge. They're broken size ranges. Most of them are large, but they're bargains, and this would be the last opportunity to be offered to the members. This is a quality product, and it's $15. There's some bits and pieces of children's clothing. They're $5 each. There's beanies at $2 each. So come and have a look. There's some leftover recovery gear also on the table. That'll be sold off tonight or at the swap meet to the general public. I've got some new caps. Whoops, bang. I've got some new caps in stock. Fonny, there is 2 of those, but they're not like yours. There's 2, these are one-offs. There's one like this and there's one with the black band. And there's some new beanies in with a reflective band on them. So come and have a look. Otherwise, it's going to be sold off at the swap meet. Thank you.
Thank you, Elkie. I'll now... Any other general business from the members? Yes. Richard.
Peter, what you said was amazing. Where is Peter? You've got a trip on Saturday. Let's go. Bridle track. We get up at 5 in the morning. I need to be back by Sunday 10 a.m. in Sydney. Ready to do it? Bridle track, Saturday. We camp somewhere on overnight, Saturday and Sunday morning. We come back early. Anybody else want to join? Come along. Bridle track. Let's do it.
There you go. That's one new trip for the month.
Just in reference to the swap meet, Elkie's asked me to coordinate the barbecue. We'll be serving sausages and bacon and egg rolls to members and the community. So if anybody wants to give us a hand with the serving and the cooking of those, let me know. Okay, we've got a few people on board, but it might be good to have a few more. Thanks.
Any other general business from the members? I'll pass over to Greg for our guest speakers.
So tonight we're lucky to have Berrima Diesel talking to us. This isn't the first time Berrima Diesel have been kind enough to come up here and give us the benefit of their time. Berrima Diesel are very special to the Land Cruiser Club because they've been supporters of ours in the club magazine since I can remember, so at least 20 years. They were big supporters of the Willow Glen Challenge when it was around. If there's anything to know about diesels, then they are the ones to go and see. There's 3 generations of diesel specialists in Berrima Diesel. I think they're probably the only diesel place shop in the world that has 3 generations. No pressure on Baden, who's the youngest of the 3. I think it'd be keen to call them the diesel dynasty. So I could go on and on about how great they are. I will mention that there's one thing that they love more than diesels, as I heard the other day, and that is their customers, which is not a lot you can say about some companies these days. So I'm inviting Reinhardt, Andrew and Baden, grandfather, father, son, to give us the benefit of some of their expertise. You may or may not have seen the table that they had over there with some cutaways of bits and pieces of equipment, which in and of itself is interesting. So, gentlemen, please join me. And in case you think I've got over-enthusiastic with my camera, Chris Taylor is not here tonight, so he's asked me to take the pictures for him, so I'm Chris.
How can I beat that speech? You've proceeded a long talk for tonight now, you've done yourself in. Hi, I'm Andrew from Berrima Diesel, and yep, we're a 3-generation diesel business in the sunny little Berrima, just not that far from here. I think it was about 1 hour and 15 on Google when we put it in to get down to the club meeting tonight. Starting off here with German All-Bar Reinhardt. You could say his dad Andrew, and of course we've got one of the grandsons Baden. The other one's gallivanting around overseas at the moment on I guess the first anniversary from their honeymoon. Both of them got married at different times last year. So yes, we're a very family-orientated business, no doubt about it, and we've been doing it in Berrima for a really long time. And an important thing is, I guess, we've had a really long relationship with the Land Cruiser Club. And looking at the club here tonight, what a very active club it is. The stuff that I've just heard that's going on in your trip reports and financials and the land that you have and the Easter event and all that stuff's pretty amazing. I think everybody needs a pat on the back for an active club for today, because I was saying, chatting with Baden last night about some of the clubs that are appearing now fly by night, like businesses as well on the internet, but they're not really doing much more than covering up a few shops that are running these groups around, giving them directed information. Whereas when you look at the, bricks and mortar clubs like the Toyota Land Cruiser Club, you've got a variety of speakers every year, lots of different trips, so much variety of stuff. You can make your mind up whether you want to really be an active part in it or be a less active part in it. But it looks like there's no end of choices when it comes to what you guys get up to. So take my hat off to the active committee and obviously the active membership that's out there and everybody that's online watching tonight. That's an amazing way you guys are doing it as well, having that online community out there zooming in and watching the meeting, because not everybody can be at a meeting. We're all pretty active nowadays, and it's like us, we're pretty busy, and I think we're just about in our workloads other than a bit of a dust down to get here tonight. But we got here, again, it wasn't too long a trip to get down here. But we've got a few videos we'll probably put on in a minute. I guess probably the main thing is diesel information is pretty general. Diesels haven't changed for a pretty long time, but they've probably changed a fair bit in the last 20 years. So, back in the 80s, 90s and 2000s, not much happened. Even, I guess, 1950, 1960, 1970, it was all pretty much the same. But once electronics came in at around sort of late 90s, we may as well say 2000, that changed the playing field and probably got a little bit more complex. And I think that there's two sides to the story as to the equipment and some of the accessories you might need on your old school diesel versus your new school diesel. So when we're finished later on, come over to the table there and we'll be happy to I guess, answer any extra questions that you guys have. We've got a couple of videos we might put up. I'm not sure whether these guys want to say something before we lead into a couple of videos. No, we'll just keep it for after the videos. So maybe video men, thank you very much for that. Probably just do the first 1, 2 and 3. We'll have a pause and I'll have a bit of a chat about what they've just watched. I guess the Berrima diesel story all started when Dad did his apprenticeship in Germany for Robert Bosch fuel injection, and he came out to Australia in about 1959, 1960 as a Bosch engineer, and when he got up there, of course, the rest is history. He was working with Bosch there for many years and stayed in the industry with another German product called Deutz before he moved down to Berrima. He kicked off Berrima diesel service. I came along into the business, and we've been a big team for many, many years until my sons got old enough they came into the business, and now they're, of course, a very big integral part of it. Berrima diesel is in a unique position here in Berrima, and how does that make it unique for us? Well, we tune diesels, and we tune them in the four-wheel drive touring market. So we have a little historic town nearby called Berrima, which gives them plenty of time to stay for the day or overnight. Being able to tune vehicles, you've got to be able to road test them and road test them thoroughly. When we're doing diagnostics, sometimes we want cars here for days, so we can really simulate and make a diagnostic problem come up clearly so we can pinpoint it and fix it the first time. This is a problem for shops that are, of course, in city areas or in large country towns where they can't do their road testing. We have the old Hume Highway. We've got many, many, many kilometres of it where we can road test up and down hills and simulate problems to diagnose them and fix them correctly. Or, of course, tune the vehicle and test it live on those hills to make sure the difference is there. So we have a dyno, but at the end of the day, nothing beats proper road testing as far as we're concerned. That's been our niche for tuning diesels for a very long time. The services we offer here at Berrima Diesel, big one is diagnostics, diagnosing problems with vehicles. We've spoken about road test areas, etc. before. We've got some unique areas where we can test your vehicle thoroughly enough and give us some time with it, maybe overnight as well if need be. We'll be able to find the problem and pinpoint accuracy, of course, which will be cost saving because you don't need to keep changing things looking for the problem. Diesel tuning, of course, is the big part of our business here because people have their diesels and they smoke and they lack power, etc., etc., etc. We've been fixing that for a very long time. So if you need your diesel tuned, Berrima Diesel is certainly the first place to start looking. Bit of an intro into our little business and our little show down there at Berrima. So the important thing around tuning is, I guess, knowing where to stop. Being the tuner, the person, of course, all he hears and reads and sees is, these massive power numbers everywhere. But in reality, that's not really fully achievable and reliably achievable. It's easy to achieve in power, but will it be reliable is the big problem. So, of course, when we do our tuning, again, coming back to our 3 generations, somebody's going to be wearing the butt from something going wrong. It'll either be the grandsons because I did it wrong or Dad did it wrong and I cop it. So we make sure it's done correctly. And, around tuning, it's safety, safety, safety. Our customer base forever and a day has been travelling out to the back of the boondocks, where the next turn off town is 500 k's, and the one you just left is 200 k's back. There's 700 k's from anywhere, and there's probably not much when you get there. So reliability in doing a tune and knowing where to stop safely is the key, and that's what we do here at Berrima Diesel. If you haven't seen our social media and our YouTubes, etc. already, then have a close look. When we're showing gains that are made when we do tuning, we mainly talk about torque. And how's that relevant to tuning? Well, it's very relevant around diesel tuning because torque is produced down low, a big mid-range, and starts to peter out up the top end. Whereas horsepower is all about the spinning of the wheels, and the faster they go, the higher the horsepower. So that's red at the high end. But if you ask yourself the question, where do you need the power? It's not a 4,000 revs in your diesel, which is a red line. You need it all in by 1,500, 2,000, so you can get your vehicle out of a bog hole, out of sand, pulling the caravan off the mark, and just generally towing or loaded driving. So we always talk about torque, and torque is really the diesel power rating that should be spoken about, not these horsepower numbers. Diesels aren't a high revving engine. They were never made for horsepower, and anybody giving you big horsepower is probably doing it dangerously. So that's why we always talk about giving you more torque when tuning your diesel. Thank you, video man. Thank you. Just a little bit of a summary on some of the tuning stuff. I sound a bit muffled there, actually. I'm going to have to look into that. But tuning diesels. That's what we do. I'm sorry, we're an inclusive business. We accept anybody in as customers, but we just don't do anything on petrol vehicles. Sorry about that, guys and girls, but it's diesel only in our workshop and our family. We'll have to see where that goes in future generations. But we think diesels, we're still doing, or this gentleman here is doing a turbo every second day on 80 series Land Cruisers. He's doing a 2H Land Cruiser at the moment, a turbo install, which is a 1980s vehicle, and they're still coming in. Still today, 4 turbochargers on a non-turbo vehicle that never had a turbo in its whole life. So we think that diesels are going to be around well after the change in technology's come about. Let's see where it stands. We've all got our views on it. We won't get a hot-headed night of discussion going on EVs and diesels, but we know we're going to be in business for a long time. But back to the tuning, I mean, there's a big difference between tuning petrols or working on petrols and tuning diesels or working on diesels. Diesel oil changes need to be regular because, soot goes into the oil, and like the ladies here, well, the gents also, they know how to make a damper, but the ones that are making a cake mix would remember if you keep adding too much flour, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. So same with oil. The longer it stays in a diesel, the more soot goes into the oil, the thicker it gets. So diesels need regular maintenance, regular oil changes. As I said, in the tuning scene there with horsepower and torque, diesel tuning is all about torque. So we push that whenever we're doing our social media posts on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, wherever it is. We show torque graphs, and they might show really big numbers because that's at the rubber on the dyno, that's not at the engine, so the numbers will be always higher. But we're showing torque, and torque's the pulling power and the ability of your vehicle to pull a load up a long hill, whether that be off-road or on-road. Whereas kilowatts and horsepower like petrol cars is all about the spinning of the wheels. And of course, high horsepower motors or motorbikes, you look at a dyno graph, it goes right up to the end, right near red line, and it shuts off. So all the kilowatts are right up in the top end. That's not where we drive our 200 series. We don't rev our Land Cruisers 60 or our 200s at 4,000 revs up the hill. Maybe in a bog hole we might be trying to do it to get out of it, but when we're towing, etc. on the road, it's all about that sort of 2,000 revs, 1,800, 2,400 revs torque. So when we're tuning diesels, it's all about torque. Very special way of tuning them. Quite simple, but you've just got to get that right. So again, we're experts in that field. We've been doing it for a long time, and we've seen a lot of you through our shop. Some familiar faces here tonight, and I'm sure some out there that are watching as well online. You're welcome to call in any time you're heading down to that lovely block of land you guys have south of us, and when the weather clears up. It's a bit boggy at the moment. But to pop in and say g'day whenever you get a chance. I've got, I might play Video Man. I might probably the last video, number 6, and that just gives a bit of a summary on some work we did on one of the 4-wheel drive magazine's Land Cruisers.
Well, the Climbys track was definitely a challenge, but it's all good. The 80 series pulled through it, no dramas at all, even pulling the camper trailer through it. I'll tell you what, I credit that to all the modifications we done before we headed down. It wasn't always that cool. Here's how it all come together. Gearbox. Then it's down to Berrima diesel. Hey Andrew, how are you, mate?
Good, Borgie. Haven't seen you for a while. How you been?
Good, mate. Good. Staying out of trouble.
Good.
What have we got planned for the big Land Cruiser today, mate?
A list of goodies.
List of goodies?
We've definitely got the better turbo for you, the G Turbo. We've been putting on a DP Chip X, so we can obviously control the boost settings because it's electronic control diesel, and we've got to also electronically control the pump settings, fuel loadings and that sort of stuff.
Awesome.
And then do the exhaust.
Beautiful, mate. So we should see a bit of a power increase there.
Should be, yeah. I mean, given that you've obviously got some towing lined up down in Tassie, it's increasing that torque and the drivability, so widening the torque band, not just maximum everything, all in the wrong places. We want to try and get a really good spread of power across the range.
How did we go, mate?
It's a big gain. It's sort of 35 to about 40-45% through the range. Torque is up the same, about 45% nearly right away across. Plenty. And up the top end, we just pull that tune out for safety. So with the custom installs, when you're doing things like higher flowing and much higher boosting turbochargers, bigger induction systems and intercoolers, with the DP Chip X, it allows us to tune exactly to suit those changes. No use spending all that money, getting those devices and modifications put on the vehicle and have a tune that really doesn't give you the benefits of that. You can't really put those things on and do damage to your vehicle, but certainly without it being tuned, you really won't be getting the benefits of those mods that you've done. So if you're thinking about modifying your diesel, give us a call here at Berrima Diesel and we can certainly discuss and custom make a tuning option for your diesel. So that's a bit of a hybrid, that one. You could see a Land Cruiser 80 series with a chip going into it. That doesn't make sense, but it was an 80 series with a 1 HD FTE. So the engine that was out of a 100 series Land Cruiser was put in that 80 series. So it was a good mix-up, bit of old school and new school, and it just shows we can, whatever type of vehicle it is, whether it's a, we'd probably call that our nearest to a hybrid, I reckon, with a bit of electronics and a bit of diesel in there. We can tune it. So it's always worth either a phone call. We do get busy. As you can see, if we get wiped out tonight, it looks like Trent Limeroth's going to be the only one left at Berrima to do work. We're only a small family business. And yeah, we get very busy, unfortunately, and sometimes we don't get a chance to answer the phone. But I always say, I'll come down to the table later on, grab a card. We've got an email address. Give us a day or a couple of days to get back to you if it's a real techie question, and we can always help you out. You know, whether we need to see your vehicle come in with it, or whether we can just give you some advice over email. We've got many ways of being able to be contacted via Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. You can message us. We have a program that inboxes all our messages, so we pretty much shouldn't be missing anybody. So if you can't get through on the phone, just remember, send us an electronic format of question and we'll be able to get back to you within a day or a couple of days. Or get in your car, come for a drive down to Berrima and come and say g'day. We'll have a chat while you're there. We've probably got lots of questions that people would want to ask and we could be answering here all night. Might just leave it till we're over the desk later when the club meeting's finished so we don't hold you guys too much more. We've really enjoyed coming down tonight. It's lovely to hear this club is, still so active. It's great to see, and it makes me sort of think that, might get the wheels back out into the mud again because they don't always have a lot of time. Unlike the young guys go out camping every weekend and do what we probably all did and had a lot of time for years back. So might have to get the four-wheel drive out again after getting G'd up here at the club tonight. So thanks for the invite of bringing us down. Greg, glad to hear your vehicle's all going as well too. Look after your diesel, and we'll be over there later on to answer any questions.
There's a question online.
Yeah, we're happy to do it, yeah. That'd be great, particularly for the online guys and girls, definitely.
You got it, Brad? Yes.
Perfect. Come on in.
The question comes from Ralph Stanford. Is there value in tuning a standard Toyota Prado for off-road action?
I mean, we always say that there's the ability to tune any diesel. Now, tuning diesels naturally are already tuned. They run very efficient. Anybody that's owned one that's been looked after, it already runs very efficient and goes well. When you're doing tuning usually for a need. It's probably why we're so successful, because people come to us already with a requirement, not sort of thinking about it. They're already saying, I'm missing power off-road. So if he's off-road, needs more torque up the hill, maybe pulling the camp trailer, there's some steep hills out of Bendethra and the high country, etc., etc. Certainly looking at doing a bit of tuning and doing it safely. There's 3 generations here, so safety is a big part of our business, because if it wasn't safe, it wouldn't be lasting very long, and the next generation or the same generation would know about it. So you do get it done safely. It certainly can be a good thing for your vehicle off-road if you've got the need. Yeah, fire
There's
away.
one more question.
No problem.
This next question comes from Michael Venter. Can tuning improve fuel consumption on 100 series with Savory D-Tronic?
Yeah, I mean, again, diesels are very efficient. It's just the nature of the beast. And what you end up finding out of tuning a diesel is that you actually will increase torque and power, and that only comes one way. It only comes through injecting more fuel. You might inject it in an efficient way, but you'll inject more fuel to get more power and torque. Simple equation. How does more economy come from that? Well, it's not always guaranteed, so I do stay out of the economy discussion and argument fairly heavily, because we've been mixed in that before, and it's usually a no-brainer. You'll be a loser every time, except for the person that doesn't want it, he'll get it every day. So when it comes down to the economy side, more torque, staying in gear longer, not having to rev it out as much, being more lazy changing up gears, means less RPM. Less RPM is less injections per minute. Less injections per minute will usually always equate to less fuel going in per minute. So even though you're generating usually more torque and more power, and we sometimes see some really badly over-tuned, like over-powerfully set up vehicles, surprisingly not getting bad economy, because there's so much spare power it's not getting used. So of course you don't want that, because it's a dangerous tune, but definitely tuning up any diesel correctly should give you that good balance of torque, a little bit more power in the top end when you need it, and of course a little bit of economy to boot if you're on the lucky side. All good? No problem? All right. Thanks everybody. We'll go for some questions later on over on the corner. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, you give us a hand.
Yeah, thanks very much, I guess, Andrew, Reinhard and Baden. As Greg said before, Berrima Diesel, DP Chip's been long supporters of the club for a long time. It's something we're very appreciative of, so thank you very much. General business from committee. Firstly from me, I'll start is the club had approval from committee last meeting. The club now has a social media basically person that we've put on board, and he's in the room here tonight. He was unsuccessful in the promotions role, but he's going to work together with Jason. So Jason Davis is going to manage both our open social media and closed social media pages. So stand up, Jason. So thank you very much. So yeah, all of those social media questions, and if you do the wrong thing, you might get a up over the knuckles from Jason. So yeah, so I just got to do some handover stuff and that with him, together with Jason in the next couple of weeks. Just a couple of reminders. Obviously, as Elkie said before, the swap meet. If you have some redundant full drive gear that you want to get rid of, you know another club member, pile all your shit together in one box trailer, bring it to the swap meet, and get rid of it. And it's on the 4th of May. Our general meeting, which will come up in November, will be at ARB Thornley. We got some copies of the TLCC News to see Jason, they're up the back. And obviously the guys from Berrima Diesel with their little table and show and tell and some cards and stuff, or you got to ask them any diesel questions. And now I'll cross over to Greg. Have you got anything from committee?
No, thanks.
Mark? Colin? Brian? Peter? Gary? Alan? Debbie? Jason? Okay, I'll now go to Sergeant at Arms, and it's Leslie.
Chris Chapman, where are you hiding? Would you like to come up and draw the raffle tonight? Everybody, we all love our Chris. Chris Chapman is having a birthday this month. We all like to wish Chris a very happy birthday.
Yeah, very old.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
So seeing as Chris is the birthday boy, he can draw the raffle.
Oops.
You got two there?
Oh, it's mine. No.
What number is it?
The yellow, is that 9 or 6? I should have brought my glasses.
It's a yellow C9.
Is that the one?
Oh my God, it is! Happy birthday, Chris! Please choose a gift.
Yeah, John Gregg had to leave early because he's got a medical appointment tomorrow. So I've got, this is his ticket.
We'll choose something for John.
Oh, do what John likes. I suppose first aid, that wouldn't be very good if you go to a medical appointment. I'll get that one. Yeah, there we go.
Fabulous.
Yeah, there we go.
So next prize, you're going to draw again. We've still got 3 goes to go.
Oh, this one's mine. No. Yellow 94.
Yellow 94.
It's obviously big.
Oh, congratulations.
We're still going.
So choose your gift. One of those.
Somebody who came in more early.
Yellow number 4. Yellow number 4.
Oh, there we go.
Take your pick, Sue. Sue's taken the $50 BCF voucher. Woo! Last but lucky last.
Yellow 90.
Yellow 90. Oh, Carl! Let me tell you, everybody, this fella knows how to party.
You can have your choice of anyone left.
Thank you.
That will do me fine. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. If anybody has any suggestions they want for raffle prizes, let me know.
Thanks, Leslie, and congratulations to all our lucky winners. Our next meeting will be held here on Monday the 6th of May from 8 p.m, and I'll declare the meeting closed. Everyone have a safe trip home. Thank you.